Hello and welcome to yet another outwardly experience. Today we'll be talking about how to make a basic native UI. So in this case, we will make a native UI to create a vehicle spawner so that the player can select the lock condition, the engine condition, the color, the name, which vehicle, and then create it with that menu. So first let's make a command. So the name of the command, I'll keep it simple. Okay, so command. And the name will be just native v. Native v. We will need a callback function, so public void cmd native v. And for the parameters, we will just use the client, nothing more. Such spelling, much wow. Inside our callback, we will trigger a client-side event. So NAPI, the client event, the trigger client event, with the first parameter will be the client, so player. The second one will be the event name, so let's make an event name. We will name it as native vehicle menu. We will not pass any parameters, so let me copy this. And this is all for the server side for now. Let's jump to our client side. First thing we need is using rage.nui. And another thing that we might need is system.collections.generic so that we can make lists and all that. So let's add an event. So events.add, and the name of the event, which we just copied, we'll paste it. And the function that it should invoke, let's make it as native v. So let's make a callback for native v. So public void native v. And the parameters will be object, array, args. Now we have a callback. Now most of the things that will be done is in the client side. So first, we are going to disable the chat. So chat.show will be false. And we are going to enable the cursor. So rage.ui.cursor.visible is equals to true. Now, first of all, we need a menu pool. So we will create an object with the class menu pool. We'll just name this as mpool is equals to new menu pool. Now we need a UI menu. So let's create an object with the class UI menu. We will call this as vehicle menu is equals to new UI menu. The parameters that this needs is a title and a subtitle. So I'll just call it spawner. And the second one will be spawn your desired vehicle. There we go. Now, after we have created the object of UI menu, the name being vehicle menu, we will add this in our menu pool. So mpool.add and vehicle menu. Now we have created a UI menu, we have added it to our menu pool. Now we will start to create menu items like checkboxes, list items, buttons, so on and so forth. So first we will create two checkboxes. One will be the locked, if a car will be locked or not once it spawned, and for the engine. So when the car spawns, if the engine will be on or off. So first we will make a Boolean variable which will contain the value if the vehicle will be locked or not. So locked is equals to, by default I'll keep the lock false, and another one for engine I'll keep this as true. So now we will make a UI menu checkbox item. So UI menu checkbox item is equals to locked new UI menu checkbox item. Inside there needs to be a title, so we will write vehicle lock question mark. Then the next one would be if that content should be checkbox tick or not tick. So we will just use the variable locked that we just created, which has the value false. So by default it will not be ticked. And for the same engine we will use the same thing, just change it a little bit. So instead of the object locked we will use engine, and over here, engine on, and the variable will be engine. So by default, the engine will be true. The engine will be already started if the vehicle spawns. Once we have created this UI menu checkbox item, we need to add this inside our vehicle menu UI menu. So let's add it. Vehicle menu, the add item. Inside we will write locked. I'll copy this and do the same for engine. So now I have added the checkbox items. Now what we will do is we will write a list of names of a vehicle, of the vehicles, and let the player decide which vehicle they want to choose. So for this we will need a list item and a list. So var vnames is equals to new list dynamic, and okay, I'll just give in furnace cheetah, and lastly Dominator, Dominator. That's it. We will make a string variable where we will store the name of the vehicle that the player chooses from the menu. So we will name this as selected v is equals to vnames. So by default, I'll give it the value for the first item that is inside our list of vnames. So vnames index 0 being in furnace. Now we will create a UI list item. So UI menu list item. We will name this vehicle name is equals to new. And for this one, first is the title. So we will name this as vehicle. The second one is the object name of the list. So in this case, the object list is vnames. So vnames. Lastly, from where should the index start from? So by default, I'll give it at 0. So it'll start from in furnace, and then the player can choose with either left arrow or right arrow. Now, once we have created this UI menu list item, we need to again add it. So vehicle menu, the add item, and then inside we will write the vehicle name object, which contains the UI menu list of all the names of the vehicle that the player can choose from. Now that we have added all the things that we need, oh, one more thing, we need a button so that when the player clicks on it, it spawns that vehicle. So for this, we will need a UI menu item. Menu item. Let's call this create button is equals to new UI menu item. This only needs one thing, the title. So create vehicle, and then we will add it to our vehicle menu, the UI menu. So vehicle menu, the add item, and then create button. Now that once you have created all of the UI items and then you have added all the items to your UI menu, and you have added that UI menu to your menu pool, you need event handlers for all of the checkbox changes and the list item changes. So this is how you make an event handler for those. Vehicle name, vehicle menu dot on checkbox change plus equals to, inside a bracket will be sender item, and let's make it flag. So sender is basically the UI menu. It's going to pass which UI menu is getting triggered. The item is the UI menu item, which item is getting triggered, and the flag is basically if the checkbox is either ticked, which would be true, or not ticked, which would be false. So let's first check all of the conditions. So if sender is equals to vehicle menu, a nested if item is equals to locked, then what should happen is that the variable locked, this is the name of the object locked, so the variable locked should be whatever value the value for flag is. So locked is equals to flag. That is it. And we will do the same for the engine. So item is equals to engine. Then we will change the variable to the flag. So if it's either tick, then it will be true. If it's not tick, then the engine will be false. Now this is for only checkbox. What about the list items? So let's do for the list items. Vehicle menu dot on list change plus equals to, inside will be sender item, and this time it will be index. So sender would be the UI menu, the item would be the UI menu item, and the index would be which item the player has selected from that list. 0 being the first and length -1 being the last one. So we will do the necessary checks. So if sender is equals to vehicle menu, if item is equals to vehicle name, which is the UI menu list, vehicle name, object name. So we will add that, vehicle name. Over here, we will change the value for this variable, selected V, to the string which the player is selecting from the menu. So selected V is equals to item dot index to item, and then the index that gets passed, we will pass it over here, and then dot to string. So whatever item the player is selecting, we will use the index to change it to the item, and then change that to a string, and then store it in our variable selected V, so that we can later on create a vehicle by triggering a remote event. Now that we have handled all of our events, we need to show the menu. Otherwise, how is the player even going to see the menu? So vehicle menu dot visible is equals to true, and vehicle menu dot freeze all input is equals to true. Well, this one is self-explanatory. This will make the player be able to see the menu, and this one will freeze any inputs the player could use, like movements, uh, camera movements, so that they can only focus on the menu and make a selection from that. Now once this is done, you need to refresh all the indexes so that whatever you have added to your menu, it gets refreshed. So vehicle menu dot refresh index, that's it. Now we need to process whatever happens whenever a player tries to change something. Let's say they're changing a list, an item, anything at all. So you need something inside a tick event. So let's make that also events dot tick plus equals to, over here we just name, and here we will do mpool dot process menus. There. Now lastly, we create a button, create button. We had created this, but we did not make an event handler for this. So when a player clicks on create button or hits enter, then the vehicle should get spawned. So we will make an event handler for that first. So vehicle menu dot, no wait, it should be created button. Create button dot activated plus equals to, over here with just sender. Okay, wait, there's more, sender item. There we go. What we will do is we first check the necessary conditions. So sender is equals to vehicle menu. Then if item is equals to created button, then what we will do is we will trigger a remote event which will create a vehicle from the server side. So events dot call local remote, sorry, and the name of the event. So let's just call this vehicle spawn from client, and the arguments that we're going to pass are the variables that we used to change all of the attributes what the player would try to change for the vehicle, if it makes sense. So locked engine and the selected vehicle name. Now, if they do hit the create button, what we need to do is show the chat back. So chat.show becomes true. We need to disable freeze all input. So vehicle menu dot freeze all input is equals to false. We need to disable the cursor. So rage.ui.cursor.visible is equals to false. Am I missing something? Show visible, that is done. Oh, and you need to disable the visibility for the vehicle menu as well. So I'll do this over here. Vehicle menu dot visible is equals to false. There you have it. This is the event handler for the create button. Now let's say if the player does not click on the create button, but instead closes the menu, then we need to give these controls back to the player again. So let's handle that one as well. Vehicle menu dot on menu close plus equals to sender item okay, it's just sender, no item. If sender is equals to vehicle menu, and if it is vehicle menu that is getting closed, the menu that is being closed, we need to give back all of this functionality. So I'll just copy this and paste. So the chat will be shown, the visibility will be false for the menu, the freeze input will be false, the cursor will become invisible again. That's it for the client side. Now back in our server side, we need to create a remote event with this event name. So I'll copy this, go back to my server side, and make a remote event. So remote event, and we need a callback for this. So public void native v spawn. We will use the client player. Next we will use locked, it should be boolean data type, again boolean engine, and then string vname. What we will do over here is, first of all, we will convert the string vname to a hash. So uint v hash is equals to napi.util.get hash key, and we will pass vname, which contains the selected vehicle the player has selected from the menu, and then it will convert the string to a hash uint type. Now we will create the vehicle. So napi.vehicle.create vehicle. So vhash comma the position, we will use the player's current position. So player dot position dot around and 5. That's about it. Rotation, let's just give it 0.0. Color, just 0. Number plate, no need for that. Locked, we need locked. And then for engine as well, so we will put that. And there, we will send a notification to the player as well. So player.send send notification. Okay, how did I mess that up? Format the string and write you have created the name. And that is all. And now I'll show this to you in game and let you see how it actually looks like. Give me a second. Alright, so I'm going to start the server. There we go, and I should log in by now. Here we go. If you want to know about this login and registration system that I have got over here, then it's in my playlist, a couple of videos. It's about 3 to 4 videos. So let me log in, and whoa, okay, cannot use that music. I'll use the command now. Native v. You see, vehicle lock, engine on, vehicle. So let me first do, so first we'll try and make the cheetah. There we go, there's the cheetah spawned. And now let's create something else. Native. Now let's keep the lock on. In furnace, let's make a dominator. We'll try to enter it and we shouldn't be able to. See? So that's how a native UI looks like, works, and how you code one. If you learned anything, then hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.